There's no guarantee that this fragile system is going to stay in place, particularly if something bad happens, like a solar flare. Like one solar flare could wipe out our whole grid. One big one can wipe out, one asteroid impact, one crazy super volcano eruption, wipe out everything, all of it. And those things are real. They happen all the time. They're 100% real. They're 100% real, and what's weird about this? It makes it's like what's scary right now for everybody is the unknown. Like we're in the unknown. Like now we've never been in this situation before as a culture. We're on lockdown, and the whole world is scared of a disease. Not in our lifetimes. I mean, not since like the Spanish flu. And back then there wasn't as much transportation. There wasn't as much distribution of information, so people probably weren't as aware as we are now. Of all the various cases all around them all the time, because we're hearing about cases in Italy and fucking Australia, everywhere. We're hearing about cases all over the planet. I don't think that was the case back during the Spanish flu days. I think it was probably harder to understand what was happening, right? Because you probably only got the newspaper and the radio back then, and everybody had to huddle around at a certain time, and those are the masters of information. Whatever they said, that was it. But now you get all sorts of conflicting information, even from doctors, man. I've read doctors that think it's nothing, and then I've read doctors that were terrified. It's like, whoa, this is nuts. And then, you look at, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what these senators did. There's some senators, they had a behind closed doors meeting about the coronavirus in China and what it could mean to the United States and, the various impacts. And they went out and sold their stock.
Immediately.
Dude. And then, but at the same time, they were talking about how under control the government had it and how we're prepared and how it's going to be fine. And meanwhile, they knew. They knew. So they had two faces. They had a public face that they were given to us to try to keep us calm. And then they had a private face which realized that the stock market was going to take a huge loss. And so they sold everything and made immense profits based on the information that they found out from these closed door meetings about the coronavirus.
How are they supposed to?
How is that legal?
How are they supposed to handle, though, legally, what are they supposed to do? Because that makes it confusing.
I don't know what constitutes insider trading. How does that work? Do you understand how that works? Like if you have information that can allow you to make money, well, isn't that like what everyone's trying to do? What is the point of playing the stock market if you don't know things? And if you do know things, if you know more because you know the guy who's the president and he tells you something about something they're going to do and you're not supposed to trade then because of that information, all right, okay, I'm sure there's a logic to it. I'm a moron. Don't run it by me. But if that's insider trading, well, what is it what the senators do? If they knew that the coronavirus was going to wreck our economy, if they knew that it was coming down like a fucking storm of hail that no one could stop, if they knew, and then they bailed out and made immense profits, that seems so shady. That seems so shady that they didn't advise people. Like, you're supposed to be a leader, right? If you're in a position, an elected representative, you're supposed to be acting in the position of a leader. And if your way to lead is tell people one thing but act in a completely different direction, tell people everything's going to be fine, but then start selling your stock at a profit, and you don't tell other people to do it because you're worried that maybe that information is going to cause some ripple effect and it's going to destroy the economy even before the coronavirus hits, just out of panic and fear, and people are going to act wrong. But you acted in a different way than the way you were talking. You acted like this shit was going to be real. You acted like this is going to be a real problem. And then the question is, like, how much of a problem did they think it was going to be? Maybe they dumped their stock. They thought it was going to be a little problem. Would that be okay? Well, but if they found out it was going to be a huge problem, then it's not. Well, that's like you and I, who you're going to be okay financially. It's not as scary. It's a different thing. But for the people where financially it's going to affect them greatly, there has to be like real big decisions made to help those people, because this is not – it's not a situation of people not wanting to work. It's a situation of people not being able to work because of an invisible enemy that kills your loved ones.
Jesus.
Like, if there's ever a time where the United States has to come together, this is the time. And I think we're capable of doing that. And I think if we do the right thing and we come out on the other side, I think we're going to be stronger. I think we're going to be stronger in not dismissing the losses and the people that are going to badly miss loved ones. I'm not even trying to diminish that. I'm just trying to say, for the people that will survive, we're going to understand what it's like to go through a real adversity together for the first time in a long time as a planet, not just as the United States, not as Germany, not as Japan, not as Iraq. No, the whole thing together, because it's everywhere. And the whole thing together is a giant problem for everybody that survives. And for everybody that survives, no matter how bad it gets or how good it gets or whether it morphs and changes or whether it doesn't, the people that survive, we have to learn from this. we got to learn. We got to learn in every way, and we got to learn how. And I'm learning right now, my own personal self, like how I'm shifting how I view the world. Like that everything has to go back to me being able to do shows whenever I want and do stand up whenever I want and travel wherever I want to go and not worry about killer. Everything has to go back to that because that's what I'm used to. Yeah. Well, no, like you know history, you know how the world works. There's countless examples of civilizations that no longer exist. And they got wiped out by plague or natural disasters. We are well aware of this, but yet none of it ever registers. And we never think it applies to us. We never think that this is it. This is the one. This is the one. This is one level. One level is stay at home. Another level that this could drop is if the grid goes down. There's things that we rely on that we don't even think twice about hitting that light switch and knowing that all that juice will be powering all these lights, and then my refrigerator is going to stay on, and then I'm going to keep being able to charge my Tesla every night. You assume all that, but there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that this fragile system is going to stay in place, particularly if something bad happens, like a solar flare. Like one solar flare could wipe out our whole grid. One big one can wipe out, one asteroid impact, one crazy super volcano eruption, wipe out everything, all of it. And then those things are real. They happen all the time. They're 100% real. They're 100% real, and we've documented the history of them in the planet Earth. Fucking thousands of them. They're always happening. We just don't live that long, man. We don't live that long, and we forgot that all this shit happened, and we thought that because from my life from '67 to 2002, there was nothing like this. Things like this don't happen.
It's amazing. It's amazing how many people have called me about guns, because I do a bit about guns in this new special, and everyone's like, "Hey man, get me your gun guy."
This is a good place to move. Time to move to Texas. Get yourself a ranch.
Thank God we trained with what's his name.
Yeah, Terran Tactical.
Yeah. Man. I know how to use my gun. I feel very confident with my gun.
Yeah, it certainly helps to get some training in. It's going to be a big issue with people shooting people accidentally. With people that don't have good firearm safety. And once refrigeration goes, that's when you see what's up. Once power goes, that's when you see what's up. We live in a ridiculous way. We live in a way that's only sustainable if the super fragile system stays in place. I mean, it's robust in terms that it handles millions and millions of people, but it's fragile in the sense that one gigantic solar flare could wipe it out. One earthquake could wipe it out. Power surges, something crazy that, asteroid shower that hits Earth wipes out everything.
Yeah.
We're not sustainable. We're only sustainable under certain conditions, and a big part of those conditions is the power grid.
I wonder how much this is going to change the way people behave, meaning
I hope it does.
Gardens, chickens, rabbits.
We should have community, little patch of garden in every community. Just have an area. You have 5 houses, have one empty lot for 5 houses.
That would be brilliant.
Brilliant, right? One empty lot the size of a lot that a house would be built on. And then you just grow vegetables and have chickens. Even if you're a vegetarian, folks, listen to me. Chickens, you don't hurt them when you eat their eggs. There's no hurting them at all. If you're feeding them well, their eggs will be nutritious. They're real easy. As long as there's no coyotes around, that's the number one problem that I have is coyotes would target the chickens. But other than that, you just let them go out in the yard, man. They find bugs to eat and worms to eat, and then their eggs are delicious, and you're not hurting them. And they prefer being in the chicken coop. They go to the chicken coop for safety. You shut them in there. You let them out in the morning. They were like my little friends.
It's the best thing your wife ever did in my entire life affecting me was convince my wife to get chickens.
Dude, because you get healthy food almost every day. You get several eggs. Like we had, at a high point, we had 22 chickens. And we would get like 10 eggs a day. Every day, 10 eggs. And I'd eat 6 eggs for breakfast. Really good. Delicious, just fucking nutrient rich, protein rich, and no one gets